everybody. We are here with This Is Why I'm Sober. I'm Abby Rose. This is Chris, and
Hello.
so excited to have you here again. And we're so pumped. We've had so much support since launching last week, and we are so excited that all of you are on this journey with us. If you have not yet, make sure you subscribe and save and come back and check us out. We are wanting to give a little disclaimer that we are not here to promote or condone drug use, alcohol abuse, anything illegal. This is all for education purposes, all for entertainment, and sharing parts of ourselves to inspire hope and show the real, raw recovery journeys that there are. So, thank you again for being here. Tonight, we are going to talk about some cool things. Maybe not so cool, but to our parents. Oh, disclaimer to family members and people, you're going to hear things from us you've never heard before, I'm sure. But this is part of our journeys from our hearts to you. So, Chris, what was the first time? What was your beginning in your world of drinking?
Yeah. Um, well, first of all, thank you for the intro, Abby. Yes, disclaimer, especially to those who know us. You'll hear some things you might not know. Um,
Or
and
love?
yeah, but yeah, so geez. Yeah, I guess in the beginning, you know, probably started my drinking journey kind of like everybody at some point, like it was just felt exciting and harmless. And at the time it was, at least I thought. But the first time I ever, yeah, drank, it's actually kind of a funny story, I think. But it was the last day of eighth grade, and my friend invited me to go on a road trip with his family across about halfway across the country. And it was my friend and his older brother and his older brother's friend and the rest of the family. And we ended up spending the night in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we stayed at a hotel. And the four of us boys had a room. And so it was the two older guys that were, I think, maybe 18 or 19 at the time. And then my friend and I, and we were 13, I guess, whatever eighth grade is. And yeah, like I guess at that point I lived a fairly innocent life because the thought of drinking or alcohol just wasn't even in my brain. And so as the night was coming to a close, it was like maybe 10 o'clock at night or something like that. And my buddy's parents were like, "All right, lights off, time to go." And so we were like, "Okay, let's go to bed, we can get ready for the rest of the trip tomorrow." And then like his two the older brother and his friend were like, "All right, here's the deal. We're gonna go out drinking, but you guys can't say shit." And so they pulled out this bottle of vodka, and they're like, "So we're gonna let you guys drink with us, and then we're gonna leave, and you guys are gonna go to sleep, and then we'll come back, and this never happened." And so we're like, "What?" Like this is it was like so weird, like so odd, you know what I mean? To like lying and going out, and we're like, "Okay, sure." I mean, obviously we knew what like vodka was, but it was like nothing we ever thought of it. So, so we so they mixed us some vodka and Mountain Dews, and so we started drinking. And I mean, it just 13, like never had it before. Like it kind of tasted gross, but they were like Mountain Dew in it, so it was like, oh right. And then the kicker was like they pulled out a pack of like a deck of like nudie playing cards.
Like,
Playing cards that
holy.
had a bunch of naked chicks on it. So, we were like, this is the best night ever, right? And so we start playing like
Men.
card games with them, and they're drinking, and we're drinking, and then they're like, all right, we're out. Like, remember, this never happened. Don't say a fucking word. And we're like, yeah, no big deal, ha, 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 right? And so my buddy and I were playing, looking at these like cards, like we're like, I mean, we just felt so adult. We felt so cool, you know what I mean? We're looking at like naked chick playing cards and drinking vodka. And then like, I don't know, maybe one or two drinks, who knows? But all I can remember after that was like literally like laying on the bed and like laughing and laughing and laughing so hard and like rolling off onto the floor and like just absolute like pandemonium, crashed out, no idea, right? And the next day, oh my God. I just remember we were sitting in the back of the Suburban on the way to the rest of the trip and just felt like just horrible. I mean, it was the first hangover, right?
Mm.
But shit, it was so fun. I just remember just laughing and laughing and never said a word about any of that to anyone about them leaving or us drinking or anything like that, right? And like I said, it was innocent. It didn't seem like it was anything crazy. We actually felt really cool about it. And yeah, then that was like it basically. I think that, that summer, I think we got into a little bit of beers here and there, stole a few beers from like, a parent, like dad's garage or something, who knows. But it was like nothing super crazy. So I would say that like my first steps to like my lifestyle just seemed kind of normal and kind of edgy and cool, right? And yeah, I mean, it just seemed, I certainly didn't think at the time that I was going to end up, struggling with alcohol like so significantly in my life that I had to like, would have to go to rehab, things
Right.
like that. But again, when I say it kind of started maybe the same way that a lot of, like adolescents start, it's just, because you don't think into the future. I wasn't sitting there like wake up the next day like, well, this is going to lead to a horrendous life. You know what I mean? Like it just
Right.
was right. Now I will say that like what probably like instilled in me that maybe if I had, I mean, and this is me looking back, 40 years later, looking back and going, I think that the major, maybe the difference is that I remember the next day, even though I was like hungover, and even though we didn't drink for, I mean, who knows, weeks or months afterwards, I don't remember exactly, but I just remember thinking that I just loved it so much that I wanted to do it again like that day, right? Now, in retrospect, it's like, well, there's might be some like alcoholic tendencies in that
Tiny
like that
little red flag.
right? Red flag, right? But like you don't think that far into the future. And I can only really pick up on that, like looking back on that first night of getting drunk, you know, knowing what I know now. But it just seemed innocent. And
No.
I don't know, and maybe, and I think there's a lot of aspects as far as like not only did we like feel cool and like like we felt special, like we have like these older like guys that were like, yeah, here's some booze, like be cool and don't tell, and here's some nudie cards, and like, and so that on top of like just the societal like you watch commercials on TV, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you want to be cool? Like grab a Coors Light, or and it's like, to me that just, I don't know if it
So
opened up
boring.
like, yeah, like you don't know if it opened up like something in me, but like it just seemed like starting then and throughout my teenage years and certainly into my 20s and stuff, it just was something cool to do. And it was like, obviously then you've got like the biological aspects of like lower inhibitions and you know kind of getting all like crazy and funny and like I don't know, but there's a lot of aspects to it. But yeah, I can't really pinpoint anything that would make me think that I had a problem then. But
The door just swung itself open.
yeah, right. Like it was a late night in Lincoln at 13, and it's the night my life was over. It's like, no, it's like nothing like that, you know what I mean? But obviously it's a progressive disease. But
Right.
I don't know. It was fun, it was cool, and um I don't know. However, right here I am in
Right.
this new lifestyle. Almost 3 years sober, but like, which I'm so grateful for, very, very, humbled about. But if they say every journey starts with one step, and I guess I took my first step, in a hotel room in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a little hop into it. It's like
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
little plunge.
Oh
And
yeah.
and you think about our developing brains at those times,
Oh yeah.
it's you feel so big, but to think about what it's doing to what it did to us chemically, they say we're predispositioned with things like addiction and that type of thing already, but I feel like when we feed it when we're young, it's definitely that's giving that chemical reaction right away to this little developing brain. And at the time, we're not like, my brain is developing. And I preach it to my kids all the time, like your body is still developing, your brain is still
Yeah.
developing, but
Yeah.
we have it all figured out when we're that age.
Yeah. And not just, and I mean, yeah, the biological aspect is huge. I mean, right now in my life, like I'm like really, really into like the neurobiology of like addiction and things like that. And so, yeah, looking back on it now, it's like, you know, you change those neural pathways in your brain that young, and obviously prefrontal cortex is not even close to being developed. So it's like you're just driven by your limbic system. Like it's just all like, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's do this, do this, do this. But and so not only biological aspect, but like if you just think about behaviorism, you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
we learn behaviors through a system of rewards and punishments and reinforcers, right? And it was like
Mhm.
for me, and I know there's probably a genetic predisposition in my family line, but and then obviously like the biological aspect, but damn, it was fucking awesome. Like I got drunk and it was sweet, and so it's like immediately it's like I want to do this again because
Mhm.
even though I was hungover the next day, it was not as bad, as the rewards I got the night before. And
Right.
so it just sets a path of like reinforcing the same behavior over and over again. And obviously my teenage brain wasn't able to like comprehend that. It's not like I was sitting in the back of the car like, rewards, positive reinforcement. Okay, I get. I was like, yeah, that was fucking awesome. Let's do it again.
You were like, in 20 years, I'm going to have the worst hangover of my life with my head against the porcelain in a dingy dive bar. And I can't see
Yeah,
that
I wasn't thinking
anymore.
about that. But yeah. So anyway, long story or short story long, I guess. But that was my intro to substances. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. What
Did you
about
have a
you?
chaser? Uh,
What?
did you have a chaser with the vodka or was it just
It was just mixed with Mountain Dew.
okay?
Gross.
I mean, not the worst that it could
Yeah.
be. I'll tell you about my first
Yeah,
time.
please do.
My,
It's your
you might
turn.
be really glad about that Mountain Dew vodka combo. I know it's making me like,
Ugh,
ugh. My leg hairs are like, oh.
I know.
My eyes are a little watery too. It's so funny how your body can have visceral reactions to things.
Yeah.
You say the word and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Uh, so the first time I did it, I was a freshman and I was with some friends, and I don't even remember how it got brought up that one of our friends had a bottle, and it was like a giant ass bottle. I don't even know what the brand anymore because I was new to it. It was just like, that's a big bottle. That's all I knew. It was a big bottle of rum. There was probably only, this much of the giant thing left, but there was probably, let's see, there's probably four of us at first, or five, four or five of us, and we only had eggnog. So
No. You tell me the first time you got drunk it was on eggnog and rum?
it gets better.
Oh God.
So
Please tell me more.
no, just wait, there's more. So we don't have shot glasses. We're teenagers. And
Slug from the jug.
we're all crammed into this a friend's. He had this Ford Ranger that just had the tiny little extended cab behind it. So me and somebody are in the back, just like squished, like we're going from destination to destination to do our illegal things. And so I remember when they first passed it to me and I was so excited because I wanted to drink, I wanted to experience that. I was always very just naturally curious about things, and so I wanted to see. I like to see what things are and what the hype is. So I take a chug of that and the freaking eggnog, and it's not the world's worst combo, but it's not the world's best. And especially for my first introduction to it, was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But by the time, so we're passing it around to each other, and you can just see, and I'm a germaphobe naturally anyway, but you could just see the milkiness of the eggnog starting to be towards the bottom of the rum. But
Oh,
what do you do at that point? Like we don't have shot glasses, we don't have Dixie cups even. We're just out in the wild doing our thing. And and then I just remember the warmth it gave me, that type of stuff. I didn't get super, super wasted. I don't know if it was because my first time, because the amount I drank, I feel like I should have. But then we also, I remember they were like, well, let's go get some weed. So and so has weed. Let's go see if they want to come and hang out too. So we go pick up another friend. And so they come and that's my first weed experience too. And so I remember
Whew,
like,
go big or go home, huh? First night.
I'm taking it all the way if I'm going. So yeah, we smoked probably 3 bowls or so. And I just remember the warmth and the music and the sounds. It wasn't the drunkest and most high I've ever been for sure. As I analyzed that, I'm like, is it just because it was my first time and I was mixing the two, and so my body was just trying to figure it out, or what? But I just remember being so like I just felt so cool. Like I just got
Yeah,
to actually do the things all my friends have all been doing, and I just finally got to do it. Because I lived in a very strict household and wasn't able to go do a lot of things anyway. And so to actually have a window of time to get to do anything was like, I'm doing it and it's happening. And I just felt so cool. I ended up getting grounded anyway, but it wasn't because I drank and smoked because they didn't know
uh,
somehow. It was because somebody had seen us going out to the reservoir with boys. And so because we were leaving town with boys, like because I was leaving town with boys, then I got grounded. So I was just like, whoa, dodged a bullet there. I'll take the grounding. It's fine. Um, yeah, that definitely opened the door to where I was like, oh, I like this. This is something I like to do. And uh, looking back at it now, it's I wish there's parts of me that, wish I could have been smarter in other ways. But again, like it was part of my experiences, and like we were talking about, it wasn't like I did it thinking, this is going to be something I really have to try 8 million times to quit one day. Like
yeah,
it was more of a,
yeah.
I want to see what the hype is about. I also was finally, I was raised very religious, and for the last part of my middle school years, I was on this very big inner spiritual uncovering and deducing and trying to figure out what I believed, because I always had questions about the faith I was raised in, and it never really sat well with my soul. But I was in a space where if you don't feel that and it doesn't resonate with you and you're not feeling the spirit that they're all feeling, then you're kind of shunned. Like it really, they might not say it, but it's a shunning. If you're not feeling, it's like, why don't you feel that? Why are you
Yeah.
like, I did all of the things, right? And so being torn about that, I would rebel and do my own thing, and then I would cry and have to repent because I was like, oh, I'm going to hell. I'm the worst person ever, like all of this like religious deep-seated like shame about it.
Yeah.
To when I finally was, because you're supposed to pray and get confirmation. And so sort of the point to addiction with this. So I finally, by 8th grade, had decided and prayed and figured it out. And I was like, this is not what I believe. I've tried for fucking years and it's killing me that I'm so broken that like I'm not fitting this mold that everybody wants me to be in, right? So they have this thing called the word of wisdom, and you're not supposed to have coffee. You're not supposed to have all these. So I would get cappuccino for my drill
Mm,
team. Like that was like my little acts of rebellion against the word of wisdom. Like I'll have my cappuccino, I'll have this, I'll have this, like little things. And so I really do feel like when I opened the door to drinking and weed, then it was absolutely to be like, see, I can do what I want and I'm not going to listen to
mm,
your guys' stupid words of wisdom either. Like, like it was just like
yeah.
instead of like
Yeah.
finding out that, we should care about what we put in our bodies, but like, but yeah, that religious shame and taking it all the way, I think I just took it and ran with it at that point. Was like finally in peace with knowing that that church wasn't true to me. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's it's like this, like, there was a powder keg full of cappuccino and you just poured a little rum in there and it was like, well, there's
There
like
you go.
it's just, like, I think there's like part of the appeal or the shtick or whatever to it at like drinking it, starting to drink at such a young age is that aspect of rebelliousness. Like,
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm getting away with this, right? Like,
Yeah.
I just,
They'll
yeah, I
never, they
mean,
can't control me. They can't control this.
yeah, yeah. Well, because, that age, like between like 12 and like, I mean, between, well, basically between 12 and like,
Beyond.
it's subjective to whoever, but like, it's that like 12 to like 15, like when you're really, because it's, it's like identity versus role confusion, like social development. You're really just trying to find your identity, and you want to like, find your friend group, and you want to, and so, part of like, at least for me, I don't know, part of that was, yeah, it was like a certain level of rebelliousness and like getting away with shit. And it was like cool and exciting. And, um, um, I mean, I look back on it now and like all the drinking I did, like those days were in retrospect quite innocent, but you know what I mean? But still
Right.
at the time it was like a huge deal. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
just, it's so weird how there's just so many social and like you said, biological and then like behavioral elements to what like what prompts that behavior, what prompts us to want to drink.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And one thing that I am always curious about too, on a different note, but inside the same scope of things, is why were adults buying me alcohol? You know, I look at kids and I would never, for one, because it can lead to addiction and the road I've been on. You know what I mean? And the adults that would buy me alcohol or drink with me, I'm like, were you that fucking miserable in your life that you're like, it's cool to get this little kid drunk right now? They know I'm trying to figure it out. And I mean, there's the people that are like, I'd rather them drink at home if they're going to drink, whatever. But at the same time, they had no business
yeah,
be drunk just because I wanted to, because in my grown age, I was cool and I could drink because I said so.
yeah,
I don't know.
right.
Just
Yeah.
something I'm always curious about.
Gosh, well, that just, as you're sitting there talking about that, like I'm just having a really hard time remembering how on earth throughout all those years.
How did you accumulate?
Well, I guess maybe, I mean, well, when I turned 16, um, we had, there was a spot in my hometown, and the guy the guy who ran the drive-through at the liquor store on the south side of town, we called him Snoop because this dude just like, he looked like Snoop Dogg. I don't know, and he was like such a cool dude, and he kind of had this like, and so we were like, yeah, let's go get some, and so I just pull up in my van and just order, and he would just be like, 21, like, yeah, yes, I'm 21, and we put so. So yeah, like I remember being able to just buy my own at the time, um at 16. But gosh, I'm trying to think, like I have zero clue on like where we even got our shit between like the age of like, well, I mean, obviously like the guys we were drinking with in Lincoln, like they obviously had their ways, but they were much older, they were
Right, they had their
high school.
connections well established by then.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like when we would go, I mean, I guess maybe we were just like, I don't know, stealing shit from our parents or something. I have no
Yep.
clue. I can't remember. It's interesting.
That's probably, I'm sure there's probably some parents we took from that. I mean, my
Yeah.
parents didn't drink, but
Wow. Well, yeah, like just the amount of risk that we're willing to take
oh my gosh.
at the time. And I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of a, right. And I guess it really, because I mean, when you're taking these like what seem like really huge risks at that age, it's like the risks don't ever really go away. Because even when I was like over the legal limit to drink, I mean, I was still taking risks. It was just much more expansive. Like,
Right.
I mean, I hate admitting this, but it's like, yeah, like drinking and driving was just like a normal thing. And that's a
Yeah,
huge risk. I mean,
I
I'm
know.
putting my life and other people's lives at risk. And um,
I know it terrifies me. I'm so grateful that somehow I didn't do something horrible with the amount of times.
yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, but huh,
Angels, I guess.
yeah,
You guys
I
like,
guess. I
ah,
mean,
bubble.
yeah, I did get a DUI when I was 21, 22, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Um, and then one time I did like, like I ran into a liquor store, like
Like physically at the
not like
car.
run, like I didn't like run into the liquor store, like I like my car hit the. It's for a later story, but so,
I'm glad that, yeah.
but
Well, another time. But
those are
dang.
just, it's just the risk taking just compounded, you
Yeah.
know. along with the amount of alcohol that, was needed. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, but anyway, so yeah, you brought up an interesting point. Like, yeah, like for you, like specifically, there were like adults buying. It's like, what the fuck? I don't know where I can't remember where we got ours, but yeah, that's what a weird. Hmm, never
And
thought of.
I don't know where the rum came from. That was just my friends had it. That one came
Yeah.
out of like, want some rum and eggnog? I'm like, yeah, of course I do.
Woo, man,
I've never done that combo since. I mean, I've done, what did they usually put in eggnog? Is it rum?
brandy or rum?
So I've done that, like where it's mixed in, but just as a
Hmm.
chaser in your community, like that's just gnarly.
Sounds really heavy. You probably didn't get drunk because there was so much like
Cream
like
and like
cream and
egg
fat in your stomach that it was just slowing down the digestion so much. You probably didn't actually get drunk till like the next day when your body actually like processed
metabolized.
processed the eggnog.
That's probably some science to that. I'm gonna have to like channel myself back to that night post
Oh,
post rum
man.
and eggnog.
Yeah. Gosh. Oh man.
I'm
Well,
glad we both
so
made it through those.
what's that?
I'm glad we made it through our adolescence though. Like we did it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What yeah, so like I guess, what would be your sort of like reflection or like message to anybody listening right now that might.
Well, if there's young people, think about what you put in your body. And old people and mid-age. Let's all just think about what we put in our bodies. I'm just kidding. No, I think that honestly, reflecting on it and looking back, um, everything that I was doing and trying to find and figure out was honestly me just trying to figure out me. And um, I've been doing a lot of inner child like healing, and I see where I put myself on the shelf when I started using because this is just my first time, right? That opened the door to all sorts of other things right away for me. And so as I continue to make space with my sobriety and continue to heal, giving my younger self a lot of love and acknowledgement and seeing her for the little free spirit that she was that was just trying to live,
Yeah.
like I it helps in my healing and I wouldn't trade that because while I wish I didn't open some doors, I love all my friends I was with and I know I wasn't, like we said, we weren't doing it to try to fuck up our lives.
Yeah.
So, um, you know, hindsight's always the clearest, but what would you reflect on with that? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of in the course of this conversation, I mean, I guess one of the things that I have to remind myself of, especially, I mean, not even just like, you know, drinking for the first time and then sort of like it escalating throughout the course of the next couple of decades, but yeah, like, you know, I think, I mean, we all make mistakes. Like we all make like poor decisions. And um I guess it's just really important to like remind myself and maybe remind anybody else that might be listening that, you know, things we've done in the past, the mistakes, the poor decisions, I should have turned left instead of right or whatever, like I think it's really easy, especially if you get into a vulnerable place like where I lived for many years, when I was deep in my alcoholism, that like it's real easy to like really just thrive off of the or not thrive, but like really focus on that guilt and shame and it can just spin so quickly out that um those my history doesn't define who I am today, right? Like who defines me today is who's sitting in this chair right now and what my hopes and dreams are for the future. Like that's I want to hang my hat on that definition of who I am. Um, because yeah, like there's no such thing as perfection and there's no
right.
such thing as like um as like living an ideal life. Like shit's gonna happen and And, sometimes we respond or we behave like we probably shouldn't have, but you know what? It's in the past and I can't ruminate. I can't, I can't like dwell on that, and I can't define myself because of what I've done in the past, whether it's
Right.
drinking Mountain Dew and vodka and looking at naked lady playing cards when I'm 13, or like sitting in my garage like by myself, drinking and drinking and drinking and hoping that I would just fucking die.
Mhm.
Like that doesn't define who I am, right?
Yeah.
Who defines who I am today is what I'm doing, what we're doing, what we're trying to share with the world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That there's always hope, and there's always a chance to make the right decision, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I guess if anybody's listening, and they're feeling kind of shitty about themselves, whatever, like, yeah, it's valid. Like, I get it, but there's a way to break free from that, and we can start right now on, taking very patient and small steps in a life that we want, right? And
Yeah.
it just takes that understanding that yesterday yesterday is gone. It's not who I am anymore. The only thing I'm looking at is into the future, and I'm sitting right
Yeah.
here right now. So
Yeah. And I always use this as an example with my therapist. It was, used in different contexts, but I say it often because I believe in it so much. And I feel like this applies with sobriety and addiction and all of that as well. We started so young, all of these things. I don't know people that are watching when you started, how your journey started, but I know we all start somewhere. And one time he had said to me, you can't go walking into the woods for 10 years and expect to get out in a couple of
mhm.
days. And I really feel like that goes so well with addiction because we start somewhere and eventually, it was fun and it was cool. And there was, I mean, I have so many fun, good memories as well as the near deaths and the chaos. And it makes sense why it took me so long to actually be apart from it for good and not and give it the space that it needed so that I didn't put myself in those situations anymore because I didn't become an expert user by, not doing it and practicing,
Yeah,
like we said last time. Lots of
yeah.
practice, lots of time, lots of
But
things.
I put a lot of work into my addiction.
Right. I worked hard for these wounds
Yeah,
and scars
mm,
and balances
yeah,
and resilience. Like we fucking did it. And
yeah, yeah,
and I'm so excited that we're doing this too.
yeah,
And thank you all again for your amazing feedback. We've gotten some great feedback
yeah,
from people. We've gotten such great support so far. Please feel free to share, continue to like and comment, please, and stay engaged. And I meant to mention in the beginning, but I'm going to mention now that we've got some exciting news. So
yay,
stay tuned because very soon we're going to be launching our official website, which has our cool, cool merch. Chris has been putting in a lot of awesome time and dedication, and we're going to keep continuing to add on there. And I'm going to put some of my little spins in there as well. And you're going to see our heart in this manifesting onto your screens where you can get some cool merch, you can support, and all of everything that is purchased off of our site of proceeds is going to go to a addictions recovery partnership. So we are excited to announce and share that with you guys very, very soon. So stay tuned and
yeah.
thank you again.
Yes. Yeah. So be on the lookout for a lot of stuff, a lot of things moving and shaking behind the scenes. Yeah, we want to brand this podcast. We want to brand This Is Why I'm Sober. And so we're working on putting it on some clothing. So that way anybody wants to support us, support recovery. Like Abby said, we're going to be donating a portion of proceeds to some different addiction recovery partnerships. And plus, it's just a way that we can, I mean, at least for like an addict like myself, like I want to promote my sobriety, and I want to promote my journey. And so by wearing, things that say this is why I'm sober, and things like it's a great day to be sober, like, yeah, man. I mean, I definitely recommend anybody who you know wants to support us in that way, and just support the lifestyle of recovery. definitely check out our store. And yeah, just can't say thank you enough to all of you who have supported us so far. And you know, if you come across this, you know, it's free to like, it's free to subscribe, and so we definitely
Yes.
appreciate that. And yeah, I guess that's it.
Yes. We
Sweet.
will
Well,
see you all next time. And
yeah, absolutely. Grateful for the conversation and grateful for you all. Thank you so much, and we will see you soon.
see you
All right.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.